I read this note that I wrote to myself last year in January, and I said something off the lines of, I don't care who's in the room with you because God's in the room with you. And I know it's kind of preachy, pastor, but I was sitting down and I was thinking about it because sometimes I do this consciously and sometimes I do it subconsciously. But I realize I act different depending who's around me, depending how I see that person, if it's someone I want to impress, if it's a boy I like, if it's someone I want to be friends with, or if it's someone I don't like, I act completely different. And that's not okay. I mean, I know that when you're in a professional setting, you have to act more professional, and when you're with your friends, you can be more casual. You can be more casual and say more casual things, of course, and say more personal things. But your whole personality should not change because you're around someone you don't like, or your whole personality should not change because you're around somebody you look up to. If your whole personality changes, like you change from Iggy to Bobby, like what's going on? Come on, we gotta reassess what's going on inwards. Like, it makes it seem like you're not proud of yourself, like you gotta hide yourself behind some sort of mask to feel presentable in the place or the timing that you're in. And I realized in that note, I was kind of calling myself out, but I didn't know I was calling myself out until I read it right now, because I still do that to this day. I was doing it last year and I'm doing it this year right now. And I'm not completely sure how to stop, I'm not gonna lie. I know in these videos the person's supposed to give you like advice as to like how to fix yourself. And that's another thing. Nothing's wrong with you. You're not broken and you don't have to fix yourself. I feel like I said that before somewhere, but I don't know who needs to know that, but you're not broken. You don't need to fix yourself. I feel like we get so caught up in this like healing, it's not healing culture, like self-help culture, where it's like, can we take a second to sit down and realize we're not broken and we're not just a passion project we have to build from scratch? Like, we're human, we're gonna make mistakes regardless. We're gonna make mistakes when we get that Grammy, we're still gonna make mistakes. When we get that album of the year, we're still gonna make mistakes. When you get noticed by the guy you like, you're still gonna make mistakes. When you get friends, you're still gonna make mistakes. When you graduate law school, you're still gonna make mistakes. Like, self-improvement isn't about never making a mistake again. It's about, girl, what is it about? Being the best version of yourself? And you know, sometimes that confuses me too, because to me, sometimes it's like, to be the best version of myself, I can never make a mistake again. But then the other side, I'm just like, Maradine, you're gonna make a mistake because you're human. But then this, I'm like, but if I make a mistake, then I'm not the best version of myself. So, you know, they go back and forth. But no, just because we're gonna make mistakes doesn't mean we shouldn't try to do or show up as our best selves. I feel like in that trying, we become who we're really supposed to be. In trying, we realize that we can do more than we think that we can do. In trying, we're able to accomplish bigger dreams and have even bigger dreams. In trying, we're able to succeed and then get another dream and then do that dream and then, you know, step up the ladder. And I know that one song where it's like, it's the cloud. I don't know why I just broke out into song. That was not needed, but it drills the point in, like, it's not about a destination. It's not about being perfect. It's about trying every day, because we're never going to reach perfection. I'm not Jesus. And even when you reach perfection, if you weren't Jesus, people still did not like Jesus, and he was perfect. So people didn't like Mary, and she was sinless. I can go on. People didn't like David, but he was the man of God's own heart. So they ain't gonna like you either. What we gonna do? Cry? Okay, go ahead and cry about it, but when you're done crying about it, you gotta keep on going, because the world's gonna keep on going. And I hate that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I personally hate that from the bottom of my heart. I wish the world would stop for me. And I wish the world would stop for you when things go bad, because sometimes it really hurts, and you know, you want people to care, but not everyone's gonna care. That hurts, but Jesus cares. And that goes back to what I was saying. Even It does not, no. It does not matter who's in that room with you. God's always in the room with you. And that's all that should matter. So when you show up in a room, when you walk in a room, be mindful who you're talking to, of course, and what you're saying to certain people, but don't change your personality for who's in the room. Don't shrink yourself because of who's in the room. If you're introverted, don't pretend to be an extrovert because of who's in the room, and vice versa, you know? If you wouldn't do something previously, don't say yes to plans just because some person's in the room that you want to impress, you know? Just focus on Jesus because he's always in the room. And once you're focused on Jesus, all that people pleasing, all that sadness, all that fear, all that judgment, all that anger, all those pretending, all those things we hide behind, it becomes easy to take that mask off because you're safe. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I'm gonna go back to reading my notes out now. And I love you, and I'm gonna blow you a kiss and give you a hug, and I'll see you in my other video. Bye.